Hey guys, Max here with another V Rising video. In this one, we're going to be talking about horses, which is the main mount for this game. We're going to be talking about where to find them, how to dominate them, and some tips and tricks along the way. If you're interested in V Rising content, make sure you subscribe to the channel down below. And I also stream over on Twitch. Make sure you give me a follow over there. If you're interested, I'll put that link down in the description box too. Let's check out what we need to know about horses. First of all, you will not find them in the first act down here in the Fairbane Woods. You'll start to see horses when you move up into Act 2 where the Dunley farmlands are. And there are a lot of farms scattered throughout this area that have small stables with some horses in them. And when you walk up to a horse, all you have to do is just hold F and you'll mount it. And now once you're on the horse, push tab and you'll see it has a max speed, an acceleration, and a rotation speed, okay? The best max speed is 11, which happens to be 11 on this horse. The best acceleration will be 7, and the best rotation speed is 14, okay? And then when you mount the horse, you'll see that it has a timer. This timer is when the horse will die, right? So if you're mounting horses and checking them and you don't like their stats, 16 hours later, these horses will die and then respawn, right? In order to keep them alive, if you like their stats, you just feed them some plant fiber and it jumps up from 16 hours to 2 days with a stack. And then if you just pump all 3 in there, you can keep these things alive for about 5 days, right? Now, when you find the stat that you like, feed it some plant fiber and then run it back to your base and keep it safe. Because later on you'll be able to dominate the horse. While the horse is still a regular horse like this, it can take damage and die, and you don't want to do that. But when you bring it back to your base, you can dominate the horse after you hit level 4 of the castle. So you'll get this spell called Dominate Horse, and you'll see down here on the right-hand side, I have an ability to recall and revive my horse, or I can get rid of it. And then if I get rid of it, I'll be able to channel a spell at the horse to dominate it. It's kind of like the dominate human spell, where when you channel it at a human, after about 5 seconds, it becomes yours. So that's what the dominate horse is. I'm not going to use it now because I don't want to lose the good horse that I have. But that's essentially how you dominate and take over the horse. So you might be thinking, what's the best place to find a horse? And to be honest, they're kind of scattered all over the place in Act 2. There's farms and things like that. But if you hover over one of the areas, you can see the horseshoe on there. That means that there's a horse there. And you'll also find them here and there in areas that don't have that, with tiny little stables with like a horse or two. When you mount a horse to check its stats, you will see the icon show up on the map, just like this one down here that I just mounted. And then this one over here was during my first take of the video, and I got shot in the back by an arrow, so I had to retry. But my favorite area to go to is the horse track on the far west side of Act 2. There's no enemies really here or anything like that, no quests or objective. It's just a horse track to mess around with your friends and do races and things like that. But there's a stable right here with 4 horses on it on this side. And then if you run over to the other side of the track, there are 4 more horses over here in the stables on this side. So there's a total of 8 horses out here. So every day when I log into play, I'll come over and check these horses because it takes 16 hours for them to die and respawn with different stats. So come over here and check these out. And if you're still not happy with them, then just kind of scoot throughout the Act 2 area while you're farming other things and check the horses there, and you'll eventually find one that you like. Now, you found a horse with stats that you like. You've brought it back to your castle. You're feeding it plant fiber to keep it alive. And then you finally hit castle level 4, and you can now cast the spell Dominate Mount. So you do that on the horse and it turns it into something like this. It's like a black horse. And if you push tab, you can see its stats, but it's also got a couple extra things. Is one, you can name your horse up here, this little pencil box right here. You name it whatever you want, or you can use this little dice thing right here to have it randomly pick a name for you. And then there's also a saddle, right? And if you go to the leatherworking station, you can craft a vampire horse saddle, which increases the mount speed and acceleration speed by 1. And there's some DLCs that give you other options. I think there's a mount to where if you craft it, it makes your horse turn into like a skeleton horse, which is pretty cool. But it's the same stats, right? It's +1 speed, +1 acceleration. So you just equip this and it turns the max speed from 11 to 12 and 5.8 to 6.8 on the acceleration. So just 2 more things for your steed. And then the spells down here, you can recall and revive your steed. So you no longer have to like feed it plant fiber. And if it dies, you can just summon it it again, right? So just an extra benefit of that. And then lastly, while you're riding the horse, you can use weapons and attack just like this. And then you can use the E ability to gallop really fast. The Q button dismounts you. And then when you dominate your horse, you get this little extra spacebar jump. You can jump over like, fences and things like that. You can't do that with the regular horse. So an extra bonus there when you finally get to dominate your mount. And that about covers all the information I have on horses and V-Rising. I tried to keep the video as short and as direct as possible, so if you feel like I deserve it, hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel for more vampire content, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.